Hello party people, it's me JiBron here, back at it again with another video. If this is your first time tuning in, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and welcome back to another episode of JiBron Unhinged. Y'all, we have a lot to discuss today. Who kidnapped somebody's elderly mother? And you reality TV girlies are really mad. Between Joseline Hernandez and everybody's upset with Tyra Banks over America's Next Top Model. And how would you feel if your daddy stole money from you but had the nerve to attack your husband? All that and more. So, can we talk? Come on. Whew, y'all. It was a whole lot of going on in the world this week. Y'all, I was just astonished on how much crap that I could find for you all this week. And guess what? It is not containing to that cocaine Barbie. Okay, y'all. First things first that we have to talk about is rest in peace to civil rights leader Jesse Jackson. He recently passed away at the age of 84 over the week. Jesse Jackson made it possible for people like me to sit around and talk to you on the camera, because without him and people like Martin Luther King Jr., I wouldn't have the opportunity to have half the things that I've had happen to me in my life. So praise up to him and his family. But y'all, what everybody seems to be talking about is this random abduction of Nancy Guthrie. Okay, so her daughter is currently a host on the Today Show, and she was supposed to be overseas, reporting on the Olympic news that's going on over there with the Winter Olympics. But get this. She had to quit because her mother went missing. Okay, so here's what happened. So on February the 1st, they seemed to think that she was abducted because here's this. So of course, when you're 84 years old, everyone pretty much knows that you have a routine or whatever. Like you go to church, you take your medicine, do all that, okay, right? Cool. The problem was she got abducted the night before she was supposed to go to church. Now, if you were going to abduct this woman, at least you should have monitored about what she was going to be doing the following day, because people thought it was mighty odd, because you know how old people are. Old people have a set schedule and routine. They pretty much do the same thing every day, like military work. They go to work, they go to church, they do this, they do that. When she didn't appear to church the next morning, everybody thought it was odd. So they decided to file a missing persons report. Okay, get this. So they pretty much got the doorbell camera footage from her doorbell or whatever, and there was a man who was masked and armed. And when the police arrived, they found blood that was identified as hers on the scene. Everybody's rightfully scared. All the family has been cleared. I remember when I heard about it, I didn't understand it, but now that I did the research for it, I am quite terrified. This can happen to any of us. I mean, it can happen to your grandmother, your mother, or anybody. It just truly shows you no matter where you live at, you're not safe. And people think that she might actually be over the border. But people are saying that do not go ahead and call it a cold case yet, because they still want to have hope. But people are worried because she's supposed to be taking this medication that she has prescribed to her every single day, and she hasn't taken it. And people don't know where she is. They're trying to track her with her pacemaker. And it's just beyond disgusting that people would try to exploit you for cryptocurrency out of all things, because you've released multiple ransom notes, whoever this evil individual is, and they pretty much want cryptocurrency, I mean, I guess I understand the market. It has room to, grow and change, but it's just you don't want cash. You're sick, you're twisted. You stole someone's 84-year-old mother and grandmother. This lady should be living the last years of her life, being peace, being happy. This isn't the way that you want your grandmother going out. You know what I'm saying? You would rather her transition peacefully, if she's transitioned, because we don't know. We're keeping all hope up, we're keeping prayers up, we're keeping hope alive. But at the same token, you also have to look at it like this. There could be a potential case that she might not be coming home. I hope she comes back home. I really hope she comes back home, so her kids and her family and her grandkids can all have a sense of closure, because this isn't how you want someone to go out. But in other news, your reality TV girlies are something else. So get this. Joseline Hernandez has come out and came against Mona Scott. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm about to tell you. So, Joseline Hernandez feels that Mona Scott pretty much exploited her the whole time she was on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Gee whiz, you think? I mean, you're on a show where you pretty much beat up people like rabid animals. You fight each other, you choke each other, y'all sleep with each other's men, the people be in the closet. This show is by far the most ratchet show I have ever watched. No, Bad Boys. I've never watched Bad Boys or the Baddies on Zeus, because they really beat the crap out of people. I swear to God, one time I heard about people watching Baddies, and I feel like my IQ score decreased, because I'm the fact that we are all above the age of 30, if not 40, fighting people we're in a prison melee made no sense to me. Joseline went on to say that she does not feel like that she was fairly compensated for her time on the show. She feels like that she's made the network billions of dollars, and she only got compensated the one time. She was making at one point $50,000 per episode, which is more than anybody on the cast. Because if you did watch Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, then you know that that show revolved around Stevie J, Joseline, and Mimi. Those three made the show. And speaking of Mimi, she's mad because she didn't get paid nearly as much as Joseline. Which, Mimi, I will say this. You were an intricate part of this story that needed to happen, but you weren't bringing the juice. The only thing that was halfway juicy about you was when you lied and tried to have a Kim Kardashian moment, when you had that sex tape with Nico, even though he was a married man, and you claimed that it was leaked, but you was over there holding the shower pole like this and getting your back cracked for everybody to see. Like, were you thinking about your daughter when that happened? And then when it found out that it wasn't leaked because it was clearly like a tripod or whatever, that was clearly filming you in the act, then you look stupid. She also says that she does not feel like she's fairly compensated. Here's the thing that I feel like that comes with reality television that a lot of people don't talk about. The Real World came out in the 90s, but I feel like that was a whole different breed of reality TV. The reality TV that I grew up on, I called that like the Renaissance, because that's when everybody was starting to figure out like what this thing is. Housewives, in my opinion, kicked it off. I'm pretty sure that back in 2009 and 10, they weren't thinking to pay you residuals about your life. Do I feel like reality stars deserve residual checks? Yes, absolutely. Especially in this day and age with streaming and all that, kids are watching these shows for the first time, and I feel like these people should be fairly compensated since that they decided to lay their entire life on the line. But I do understand the side from a corporate side where it's like, well, we don't have to pay you because you signed a contract null and void. I feel like reality TV, you should get compensated the same way you get compensated on a sitcom show. You did show up, you did do some work, you pretty much were vulnerable in front of a camera, which a lot of people aren't capable and will not do. Trust me, because baby, if a lot of y'all had a reality camera on y'all, you probably would be in jail, thrown underneath the jail, because some of the stuff that y'all do is beyond illegal. But anyway, I do feel like these people are put in somewhat volatile situations that they normally wouldn't be in. The shows are clearly heavily produced, especially now. The stuff is clearly fake. Especially on Love and Hip Hop, like the random, they really need to get compensated because these people walk away with black eyes. They get purses knocked upside their head. It's just all hood rat and just ghetto. It's just like, this is why I prefer Housewives, because it's like you really act like you have a high school education, fighting people, throwing glasses, drinks, and water, and tables. Y'all remember when A1 ran across the table on Safari because he was sleeping with his wife? It's just ghetto. But that one was going on with Love and Hip Hop. Y'all, this America's Next Top Model documentary came out. Tyra girl. They make you look like a monster from what I read. Have I watched the documentary? No. Do I remember America's Next Top Model? Yes. This chick over here across my shoulder, Beverly, Granny used to sit around and watch America's Next Top Model every time it came on. I remember vividly being in the living room as a little child with it on in the living room. And I remember the girl had put eyeshadow on her lips for lipstick. That's literally the only memory I had of the show because I didn't understand it because I didn't really care. If you don't know about America's Next Top Model, it premiered in 2003 and it was subsequently canceled a couple of years ago. I don't remember really which the date was. In the documentary, there was a lot that was said. One of the contestants said there was a microaggression because she was getting her hair done and she was getting these makeovers, and the stylist did not know how to handle her hair texture because I think they were Caucasian, and they left her with 3 bald spots. Another person talked about how she was ridiculed for being a size 10. Another person talked about how the fact that she got a makeover and she was getting criticized because she had a gap in her mouth. It was a whole lot of stuff. They were dragging Tyra because she made an episode where the people had to switch races, which, okay, it wouldn't work in this climate now, but in the 2000s, it makes sense. Tyra also almost came to blows with the head president over UPN because she wanted an ethnic Latino woman on her show, and they only wanted one, and he pretty much didn't want that, and she almost fought him in the meeting to get the girl on. She didn't get on the first season, but it was a lot. But what was shocking was Jay Alexander and her apparently had fallen out. Now, I don't follow the show. I didn't really care about the show. So apparently what had happened was Jay Alexander and her go back years, and they were friends for a long time preceding the show. And he, I guess, felt like the show was getting a bit too toxic, and he felt a bit burnt out, and he pretty much wanted to, take a break from it. And so he emailed Tyra pretty much how he felt. She said that she was disappointed, and he ended up returning. However, he said that on set that the tension was clear as day. They didn't talk. They knew how to play it up for the camera, but behind the scenes, they were no longer close. They also talked about how the fact that they were pretty much announced that his and another person's firing got leaked to the press, and they alluded to the fact that Tyra did it because it was only on a three-way conference call. He was on a boat in Sri Lanka, and he found out pretty much that, he already knew he was getting fired, but he pretty much was told that it was going to be a press release, but instead it got leaked to Page Six. And then Miss J, out of all people, suffered a stroke and has not visited Tyra, Tyra has not visited Miss J, and she's like, she'll come when she sees me or whatever, and it's sad because that's the person who actually taught Tyra how to walk. I think that they met Tyra when she was like 17 years old, and when Tyra was asked about her relationship with the other J, she said, "I'm not gonna comment about that on camera." Tyra, this makes you look like a monster. Tyra Banks, it's been alluded to the fact for years that your attitude and your personality is beyond hard to deal with. I think they've alluded to the fact that's why your talk show got canceled. Tyra has never been the nicest person to my knowledge. I do feel like Tyra also may be getting a bad rap because she is a hardworking black woman. And I do feel like certain people get stigmatized with being a witch with a capital B because they are hardworking and they know what they want. But Tyra, this isn't my first time hearing this stuff about you. They pretty much said that you left America and you moved to Australia and you're gonna terrorize a whole new set of girls. Tyra, your show is the first of its kind, and I think it's really the only of its kind. You did make waves in the time. You have helped people come across and have wonderful, astounding careers. I think that your show gave the opportunity to a lot of women that wouldn't have had the opportunity any otherwise without the show. However, Jay did also go on to elaborate and said that in the later seasons that the show became less about the competition and more about personal storyline, which, it's reality television. I feel like that's what happens with all these singing contestant shows now is if you have a sloppy story, they're pretty much going to vote you to number one, even if you're the least talented, because, they feel sorry for you. Tyra, this isn't the first time that I've heard that you've had a volatile work environment. You aren't really the nicest person from what I'm told. I don't know you. I don't really follow you. You seem funny. Do you seem a bit quirky and a bit off? Yes. Is the elevator clearly going to the top floor all the time? No, not really. But you clearly have had success. You are one of the supermodels that everybody identifies with when it comes to black supermodels or supermodels in general. It was you and Naomi Campbell. Those were the supermodels that I grew up remembering and hearing about in my household. But that documentary, it was just a bit, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to give you my full 360 about it because I was reading the clip notes from one of those websites I like to watch. And Tyra, it didn't paint you or the show in the best light. But think about it. Reality TV, it's about exploiting people. It's about showing you in your full, ugly, raw state. It's not about showing you in the best light, showing you eating cookies and rainbows. Because, at the end of the day, I'm going to turn off the television. I want to see conflict resolution, not just complete conflict. Do I feel bad that they exploited the girls? Absolutely. And one of the girls even commented and said that they would edit things a certain kind of way and they would put things out of context. I've heard this from multiple times from different productions. It's not just America's Next Top Model. Hell, it's not even Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Across the board, they all do that. But everything that you sign up for has its pros and its cons. What are you willing to do for fame? And a lot of you girls, ain't nobody really checking for y'all. And then I was reading in the comments that they said the Bad Girls Club, they want to come out with their own documentary, which, do I really want to see a documentary about grown women who were in a house pretty much getting paid to beat each other up? Granted, y'all were only paid $500 a week. But anyway, y'all, that's all that I have time to talk to y'all for this week. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.